Love can be down, underneath the head. Love can be the one. So that's Josephine Electric, and this is Pam Electric Ghost. And this song is part of this new suite of stuff we're doing called Addicted on Instagram under our expansive_sound_experiments. You can also see these songs on our Facebook at Pam Electric Ghost on Facebook. So this episode is that scene where Josie takes her home, Sonic Dissonance versus Anomie. We're also going to talk about some of our Bentley Records releases that just came out. So this song was an experiment with the MX1 performance mixer from Roland. We've used this a couple years ago on some of our earlier releases. And what's cool about the MX1 performance mixer, hold a second. As I was saying, what's cool about the MX1 performance mixer is it actually has a sequencer that lets you, a 16-step sequencer that lets you take effects and apply them to every step or every other step. So it's kind of cool. You can create this kind of strange modulation. We have it tied to a JDXI and to a System 1M. And it's running through like a digital delay, a scatter, a flanger, a filter, and a bit crush. And so there's a lot of cool stuff going on with that. And also a roller, which actually does like a quick portamento slide down. And so what we did is we actually, had started it with some analog goodness, some blips and beeps and bops. If everybody knows modular sense, what we're talking about. So we did some LFO modulation using the LFOs, low frequency oscillators, on our Arturia Mini Brute 2S, and also on our, there's two LFOs on the Mini Brute 2S, and then we also have an LFO on the Moog Drummer from Another Mother and an LFO on the Mother 32. We used those LFOs to create a looping analog segment that does a lot of strange modulation. So our term for that, bleeps, bips, and bops. Then we were playing with Josephine Electric's voice on our MX1 mixer. We kind of opened up her voice. We changed her tone of her voice from time to time. We hear Josephine sounding different ways. We think she sounds very voluptuous here. What we're doing here is we actually took two poems from a collection of poetry we wrote back in the early 90s called synesthesia. And as you can tell, we use synesthesia as a term in a lot of our songs. It's the concept of being overwhelmed by your senses. Like, so you can smell sound, you can taste, colors. It's just kind of, your senses get overwhelmed. We tend to use it to describe when we're like romantically overwhelmed by a partner, and Josephine's being kind of totally like overwhelmed by the sensuality of her partners. So in this particular is a collection of synesthesia poems that we mixed together. So we took two poems and we mixed the concept of this one poem where Josephine is really entranced with her lover, and she wants to be able to be invited in when she takes her home, but then she's too scared to tell her, or she wants to tell her, or sometimes she's scared to tell her, sometimes she's not scared to tell her. And another poem talks about her lover being safe and secure at home on the couch reading a book about lovers forlorn. And then the other poem is where Josephine says she wants to be her lover's down pillow that she rests her head on, and then also the warm wool blanket that wraps around her lover's legs. So you can tell Josephine's actually entranced with her female partner, and she wants to kind of envelop her with her ghostly self, and kind of, in a dangerous way or a malignant way. She wants to like embrace her with her phantasmic love for her and hug her in the way that a ghost could hug somebody, by kind of being their warm wool blanket in their down pillow when they're sleeping. and kind of fantasize with her and be part of her dreams. Which we've talked about before, that Josephine comes to you in your dreams, and she sometimes makes love to you within your dream, and then not physically, and then physically sometimes she actually turns into a full human moral form and has physical sex. This particular song is talking about this kind of ethereal sex that she has, and she tends to have this kind of sex with her female partners, and then she has more physical sex with her male partners. So this is the concept we've had with the character for a while. So this is what we're talking about here, and it's just interesting, the ideas that we had, and we think this song has a strange sound to it because of the MX1 performance mixer doing this kind of sequenced effects, and then you can use the dial to kind of make them more pronounced or not pronounced, and then sometimes we turn it off, and so sometimes you hear the guitar being morphed by these effects, and then the guitar not being morphed by the effects because we apply them or we don't apply them. And you can kind of apply them in a chain pattern, and you can bounce them around in real time. That's why it's called a performance mixer, because you can do a lot of cool things like a DJ. We've used it to a great effect, and we like using it with our modular gear that adds even more capability. And we're we've said we're a big proponent of using hardware synths because of these kind of capabilities, and to not just be stuck in the DAW and kind of do things musically, as improvisation. And a lot of our songs are kind of point in time improvisation. We do have them recorded into the Zoom. So unlike somebody who uses a DAW, we bring our Zoom on stage and we can actually run our Zoom, which is very reliable compared to a PC because it's just running off an SD card. It does not crash. So we could actually run all of our songs as they were written. We can actually mute and unmute tracks and play along. And we like to do that with our analog synths because then we can capture point in time, kind of like if you hear the story about Baba O'Reilly or Won't Get Fooled Again, Pete Townsend and The Who used to have to take their analog synth tracks and run them on a loop-to-loop, reel-to-reel tape recorder when they went to do these songs live. But it was too hard to actually get those sounds to be recreated, by somebody playing the keyboard. And so they would run them in the equivalent of a sequencer back in the 70s was using a reel-to-reel tape and running it that way. So that's kind of interesting. So the Zoom R24 can do the same type of thing, and we kind of use it in that same way. And we like it better than using a DAW because it gives us the actual sound that we recorded with no compression, doesn't change it. Now, I know there are people, you probably can use Mainstage, Ableton Live, do the same thing. But I do find sometimes the computer does not give me exactly what I recorded. And the Zoom gives me pretty much, 99% everything that I recorded exactly where I recorded it. So we like to use that. Now, the other songs that we released today, we released a bunch of songs on Bentley Records, just two. And we put them on a playlist out on Spotify. So we created a playlist that we call Devastation, Wrecked by the Other Me. And in this playlist, we have the song Devastation, Wrecked by the Other Me, and Deliciously Bent. These are our new Bentley singles, and so check them out. They're on all streaming services. We got the links to them on this episode. So we hope to hear from you. If you're a band and you want to get interviewed, send us a voice memo. You can also send us a message on our Facebook, which is at Fam Electric Ghost. If you enjoy what we're doing, please subscribe to our Facebook, become a member of our Facebook channel. Also, you can fund us on Anchor at $1.99 or $4.99 or $9.99 a month. You can always cancel if you don't want to go more than 1 month. And that will help us out because we're constantly wanting to review gear. We tend to buy the gear and then review it ourselves. We're looking forward in the next year to getting a Moog grandmother. If we do better, we'll get a matriarch, but we're probably going to get the grandmother because of the spring reverb. We also are very much interested in the UDO Super 6 and the Jupiter X and the Phantom. So we're kind of going between a Jupiter X and a Phantom. We kind of like the Phantom because of the workflow, but the Jupiter's been a big love for a long time. System 8 was something we wanted, but the Jupiter has more polyphony. 256 voices. If you listen to what we do, we could do a lot with those 256 voices of polyphony, because what's interesting is the Juno GI has 256 voices of polyphony, and we use that all the time. And it's interesting that a synth from 2008, gives us a lot of capability in a lot of our sounds because it can do that. Now, it may not be as sexy as a lot of the other synths that are out there, but our Juno GI has been a workhorse for us. It's been very reliable. We get a lot of tones out of it. And because of its polyphony, we can do a lot of cool things. So for those who think Roland's boring, whatever, a lot of the music we create is done with the Juno. It's not a matter of being boring or being the most capable synthesizer. It's kind of like the person that uses the synthesizer can actually bring a lot to the table. If you have something that might not be as sexy or as great as a Moog 1 or a Prophet, XL. If you're a good musician, you can get any instrument. You can get Casio to sound good. It's like Jack White. He gets plastic guitars that sound amazing. He's not using the best guitars in the world, though now he has some of the best guitars in the world. But when he was in the White Stripes, he used a plastic, cheap, less than $100 guitar. It's really the person who plays the instrument that can kind of bring it to the table, so you don't have to go crazy on things. But we do appreciate high-end machines like the Moog 1 and the Matriarch and Prophet 6s and things like that. So we're not opposed to that, but we're saying that you can get good sounds out of basic synthesizers if you just are creative. So keep your creative impulses flowing, and we'll hope to see you on the net and in the web sphere, and we'll catch you out there in the ether, as Townsend would say.
Long to beat it down, down, underneath the head. Love to be a warm, warm blanket, wrapped around there. Darling, you should know, whenever I see you home, I don't wanna let it go. I thought you should know. Page 2. Want to be down, underneath her head. I'll be a warm old blanket wrapped around her leg. Secure, so secure. She curls up all safe and warm, reading a book on the sofa. Love lost me from norm. She shoes up on her, so warm. Reading a book about love lost me so forlorn. We're secure. Page 2. Long to be the down pillow underneath her head, and let there be a warm old blanket wrapped around her leg. Darling, you should know, whenever I see you home, I don't wanna let you go, but I don't want you to know. Page 1. should know. Whenever I walk you home, I don't wanna see you go. Oh, I don't wanna let you know. Don't wanna get too close. Can't you never call me again? She's not my lover, she's not my friend. Long to be down below, underneath her head. Long to be a warm old blanket wrapped around her neck. Security, you shouldn't be with Josephine. Security, you can't be with that but me. Yeah, she curls up with a warm blanket. You're safe and warm. Bring up a gun sofa. Our love's lost and forlorn. Darling, you should know. Whenever I see you home, don't wanna let you go. But Josephine can't let you know. That the void in between, all sight unseen. What a phantasm does beneath the sheets is between you and me. Long to be your down pillow underneath your head. Love to be a warm old blanket wrapped around your leg. Long to be your down pillow underneath your head. Love to be a warm old blanket wrapped around your legs. I can't be sad when you know that I'm not quite dead. You can't be sad, face can't be red, and I'm